Hello everybody, Mr. E here, and welcome to another episode of Mr. E Talks Movies, the series where I go over movies, describe them, and give my opinions about them. And as always guys, I'd like to thank you all for the support I've been getting for this channel, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any more videos. And feel free to comment down below if there's any movies you'd like for me to talk about next. So without further ado, let's get started. So yeah, if you couldn't tell by my t-shirt and the cheery music in the background, that it's Christmas time. Yep, it's finals week here in college, and after this week, I'm heading back to my parents' place to go there for the holidays. And of course, I'm quite ready for the holidays myself. I got my tree set up already. Got my nativity set there on the dining table. And I got a few Christmas knickknacks scattered around here, and well, of course, no holiday would be complete without Christmas movies. Yeah, these are the ones I have in my apartment. I've been watching some of them. I got much more in my parents' place, but I've got all next week to do that. So yeah, so it's a no-brainer that for today's episode I'm going to be going over a Christmas movie. More specifically, one of the most classic Christmas movies out there, Elf. Yeah, this one came out in 2003 and was directed by Jon Favreau, the guy behind Iron Man and The Mandalorian. And so yeah, this is gonna be fun. No Christmas. You're not a true Christmas movie fanatic until you've seen this one. Oh yeah, and speaking of Christmas movies, I forgot to mention, I do have the notebook paper that I use to keep track of all my movies. Well, I have a page on there dedicated to Christmas movies. So it's just full of Christmas movies. They're not Hallmark movies because they suck. Alright, let's get this movie going. So, at the beginning of the movie, we get to, the leader of the Christmas elves, the elves over at the North Pole that, make all the toys that Santa delivers to children every Christmas. And so, yeah, we got the leader of the elf, known as Papa Elf, played by, I think his name was Bob Newhart or something like that. And anyway, he tells, how you got the elves working at the North Pole, making toys for everybody. And yeah, of course, no human has ever set foot in the North Pole, or at least not until, the elf story finally begins. So yeah, opening credits later, we cut over to, I think, New York, somewhere where you got an orphanage that's pretty much empty, and you got cribs everywhere, and you got the nun, and she has a baby. It's Christmas Eve, and she puts the baby in the crib, and kisses him goodnight, and then gets on her way. But, yeah, of course, Christmas Eve is there, and you got the baby there, still wide awake. Since Christmas Eve, Santa Claus shows up. He's there, and he's eating the cookies that were left out, and oh yeah, of course you got the Santa Claus played by Ed Asner, RIP, and yeah, the baby, who's, I forgot to mention, the baby's name is Buddy. And so anyway, the baby somehow gets out of the crib and starts crawling to Santa's sack because he sees a teddy bear in it. So yeah, we fast forward a little bit to the end of the Christmas, Santa's annual Christmas ride, where you got all the elves there at the workshop partying, having a good time, and Santa's there, and he's like, "All right, everybody, it's been another very successful year for whatever, and now it's time to start preparations for next Christmas." But then and everyone's cheering and everyone's starting to work. But right when everyone starts to work, everyone notices the baby coming out of the sack, and they find out, yeah, this is Buddy. he must have snuck into your sack at the orphanage. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, they need to be more specific when it came to that stuff. I'm sure Santa visited a lot of orphanages, so. Of course, we got an orphan human baby chilling at Santa's workshop, and they gotta raise the little guy, and of course Papa Elf steps in and takes him in as a son. So yeah, making him Buddy's adopted father. So yeah, we fast forward a little bit. You get a little collection of, Buddy growing up, ends up becoming much bigger than everyone else, considering being a human, and also that he, of course, grows up and is now played by Will Ferrell. Is basically, raised by the Christmas elves, and just starts hanging around Christmas stuff. And then when he gets old enough, you got Papa Elf. Papa Elf eventually takes Buddy in as his, apprentice, and you get Papa Elf and Buddy. They're in the garage, and you got Santa's sleigh, the thing Santa Claus rides to deliver presents to everyone, and of course the reindeer fly the magic sleigh, and apparently the flyingness is powered by Christmas spirit, and it's a little difficult to do because year after year, less and less people believe in Santa Claus. But I'm sure the internet memes I see every year on Christmas say otherwise. So Papa Elf comes up with this alternative to help get the sleigh to fly. He comes up with a jet turbine engine, and of course he's got some things he's got to work out with it before the Christmas ride. And of course Buddy decides to help Papa Elf with the sleigh, and everything's doing good from there. We fast forward a little bit. You got Santa's workshop. Everyone's hard at work making toys, making Barbie dolls and Etch-a-Sketches and all that. And of course you got Buddy. He's also working there, but he's not doing as well as the other ones. He's not making toys as fast as the other elves, and then of course he's a little bummed about it. He's like, let's face it, I'm the worst toy maker in the world. And the supervisor and all the other elves are trying to cheer him up and saying like, hey man, it's all right. You're not a cotton-headed mini muggins, as they say. We just all have special talents, So yeah, right after that, Buddy is moved to the toy testing room. He has to check all the toys, make sure they work before, they're packed up. So yeah, we get Buddy. He's checking on the jack in the boxes, and always gets jump scared whenever the thing pops out. And this is where things start to, get interesting, as they say. You got two elves. One of them is the supervisor from earlier. They're talking a little bit, mostly about Buddy, and they're like, "Hey man, Buddy's kind of bugging. Buddy's killing me, with the whole, we're a little off the pace when it comes to Etch-a-Sketch productions, and it's a good thing we managed to, bull our way out of that little dilemma with that special talents thing." And then of course you got Buddy overhearing the whole thing. And then one of the elves says to the other elf, if Buddy doesn't find out he's a human by now, I don't think he ever will. And then, well, I guess everything finally starts to make sense. Everything's too small for him. Of course, Buddy starts freaking out a little bit. He faints and falls on top of an elf. Yeah. I thought that part was kind of funny. I made a meme about that while I was rewatching it, but I tried to share it on Meme Droid, but the moderators didn't seem to like it. So once Papa Elf catches wind of, how Buddy's feeling, and he tells him what he should have told him a long time ago. That, Buddy's not actually an elf, he's a human. And, it all, basically a bit of backstory. You got Buddy's father, Walter Hobbs, fell in love with this other girl whose name I think it was Susan something, whatever. Anyway, they fell in love, and Susan birthed Buddy, put her up for adoption right afterwards, and then passed away. And then, Walter, unfortunately, never knew that, Buddy was ever born, and he is currently working in New York City, specifically the Empire State Building. So yeah, it's a lot for Buddy to take in. He kind of just runs around for a little bit, starts talking with a stop-motion snowman, kind of, like the one they have in Rudolph, that one. And they have a serious discussion, but he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sad that I'm not a real elf, and I'm never left the North Pole, and my dad's somewhere, like, very far away, and then the snowman's like, hey man, it's alright, you can, like, this is like a way to, like, find yourself. Maybe you can go to New York City and, figure stuff out from there. So he does. Yeah, he decides to leave the North Pole and embark to New York City and hang out with his dad. And of course, Santa Claus gives Buddy a few tips about how to live in New York City. Don't eat gum off the street, and stuff like that. And then you get Buddy, and he's like, oh boy, I'm so excited to get to be with my father. We're gonna be best BFF friends forever. And Santa's like, yeah, about that. Your dad's on the naughty list. That's a problem. And of course, Buddy's like, no! So then it just briefly cuts to New York City, where you got Walter, played by James Caan, may he rest in peace, basically working as a book publishing guy. He's basically a corporate douchebag. Let's just leave it at that. And that briefly cuts back, and then right after that, it cuts right back to the North Pole. Wasn't even 20 seconds later, we cut back, and you get Santa, and he's like, hey man, some maybe he just forgot what's important in life. Maybe some Christmas spirit will help. And, but he said his goodbyes to everybody and kind of just floated away on a piece of ice. And after a bunch of trekking through fantasy worlds and distant tundras and getting mauled by a raccoon, he finally finds a road that goes through the Lincoln Tunnel, and before he knows it, he's finally in New York City. Yeah, there's a funny little montage where you got Will Ferrell in an elf costume, and he's basically just going around the city talking to people, eating gum off of the subway railings, gross, and kind of just being an overall weirdo. Yeah, before long, he does find his way into the Empire State Building, where he gets onto an elevator, and he gets to the children's book publishing place. The place where Buddy's dad Walter works at, and of course Buddy shows up and talks with the receptionist, but everyone confuses him for a Christmas-gram, so they expect him to like sing a song, and when Buddy finally meets his dad, he kind of sings awkwardly, and it was very, very, very silent and awkward. It was weird, and they didn't really find anyone that sent the Christmas-gram, and so he's basically just passes off as some guy who thinks thinks he's his long lost son or whatever. And so yeah, they call security and they kick Buddy out. And yeah, it's like well, yeah. Yeah, Buddy's such a goof. He's funny. Fast forward to later, Buddy the elf is now, kicked out of the Empire State Building. He eventually finds Gimbals, a Macy's-style holiday department store selling a whole bunch of stuff. And so yeah, he kind of just enters there and kind of explores a little. Starts having some trouble with the escalator. Starts, I don't know, also being a goofball, and then he finds and at one point he's eyeing some, I don't know, Christmas themed lingerie, quote, for that special someone or whatever. But eventually the store manager notices him, and since he has the elf costume, he thinks he's an employee, and then he's like, "Hey man, what are you doing up here? You're not supposed to be here. Come on." And he takes Buddy to this one place selling little children's toys and Christmas wrapping services and all that. And yeah, apparently the guy calls it the North Pole, and then Buddy's like, "No, it's not. This isn't the North Pole." And it's like, "Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not." And then, it's kind of funny like that. And then at one point the manager's like, "All right, I gotta make an announcement. All right," I know this word for word. It's like, "Okay, people, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town." And then Buddy's like, "Santa! Woo!" Very excited. And then right after that, we're introduced to another character, supposedly the love interest in the movie, the Gimbals employee named Jovi, played by Zoe Deschanel. So yeah, Buddy and Jovi, they talk for a little bit, get acquainted, and it's like that's a real nice tree you put together. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to get through the holidays. Get through them? Yeah, please stop talking to me, please. You're starting to bug me." It's like, "You gotta sing a Christmas carol," and she's like, I don't sing." And it's like I don't know, it's kind of like an elf code that Buddy has, that the Christmas elves have. Is like, the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. Yeah, I'm not singing. I'm not a singer. And she refuses. She's, I don't know, kind of getting a little bugged by this conversation, and then eventually, closing starts and she leaves, and then Buddy's like, "Hey man, we can't leave. Santa's coming. We got a lot of stuff to do." And she's like, "Yeah, whatever. I'll see you tomorrow." And so yeah, the store is now closed. All the lights are out, but then you got Buddy. He's still hanging around. He's doing a bunch of stuff, kind of doing some excessive decorating of the North Pole, taking a bunch of stuff from the store, and I don't know, he just starts taking those, I don't know, starts making paper snow angels, hanging them around everywhere, getting fluff from the pillows and kind of just nailing them to the shed, like behind the throne where Santa's supposed to sit, and starts wrapping all of the merchandise and all that. Now, is this illegal? Probably. I don't know. And when we go somewhere else, we got Walter and his family, his wife named Emily, and his son named Michael. And being the workaholic he is, Walter kind of just takes his dinner and kind of just moves into the office, goes to his, I don't know, apartment desk where he's working, and he's kind of flipping through a yearbook, and he sees the picture with him and Susan, and then he's kind of thinking a little bit. He's like, that guy that I met today, he did say that this girl had him. So yeah, that could be interesting. Anyway, fast forward to next morning. Gimbals is close to opening, and Buddy has finally finished, setting up excessive Christmas decorations to that little area. Suddenly he starts hearing singing from, I don't know, the employee bathroom or whatever. You got Jovi's kind of in the shower singing, and once Buddy caught wind of it, he was kind of in there, kind of just singing along. It ends up sounding like an absolute creep. And fast forward a little bit, you got Buddy. He goes to the Empire State Building, where he quickly gets escorted out by the same security guys. But, he did drop off a little present for his dad, and he's like, "Hey guys, okay, I'm leaving, but can you give that to my dad? Tell him that his son sent it to him, and that he's the best dad in the whole world," or whatever. So yeah, you got in the morning you got the line to see Santa Claus. You got all the children that are in the store, kind of just being awestruck at all the decorations in the store. And you got the manager. He's looking around, completely dumbfounded by all the crazy stuff. And you got Jovi and Buddy. Jovi's like, "Yeah, why were you spying on me in the shower or something?" Yeah, once again, it was another awkward conversation, and it ends up with Buddy complimenting Jovi's singing voice, and then, everything kind of works out, I guess, maybe. And that doesn't matter because Santa Claus shows up. Yeah, you got Santa Claus showing up. All the kids are cheering. Buddy's there too. He's like, "Hey, Santa, hey, it's me, Buddy." And he steps next to Santa as the kid comes up on Santa's lap, and he's like, "Wait a second, you're not Santa." And the Santa's like, "All right, man, just go with it." And he's like, "I can't. You sit on a throne of lies." And he's like, and then one death threat later, Buddy, I don't know, rips the beard off of the Santa Claus, and everyone starts freaking out. This is a very, very, very chaotic scene. And of course, you got all the kids screaming, traumatized, and you got the Santa Claus coming up and kind of just beating up and kind of just tackling Buddy, and it just kind of trashes the place a little, and the manager steps in, and lots of crazy stuff is happening. So yeah, of course he gets arrested for it. Yeah, but he ends up calling Walter and telling him what happened. And speaking of Walter, we get to cut to him in the office. He has the gift that Buddy gave him, which is kind of like a card saying I love you, Dad. And he has the picture of him and Susan and all that. And guess what the present was? The lingerie thing that Buddy was eyeing earlier. And then he gets the call from Buddy at jail. Walter bails Buddy out, and he's like, "All right, man, answer me this. Where'd you get this photo? Papa Elf gave to me." And I'm like, "What do you want, dude?" And of course he doesn't, believe that he's Buddy's son. So they go to the doctor to, I don't know, take a DNA test or whatever. You got the doctor there, and he kind of just takes a blood sample from Buddy, and you got Buddy. He's kind of just being an annoying guy. It's pretty funny. He eats the cotton balls, and I don't know, he starts freaking out when his finger gets pricked, and he has a cute little conversation with the kid in the living room, and after a little DNA test, it is confirmed that Buddy is in fact Walter's son, and the doctor's kind of telling Walter about the little about, I don't know, some psychological whatever's that's been happening with Buddy or whatever. It says that maybe it'll be a good idea to, I don't know, bring Walter in, meet the family and all that, and be a father to him or whatever, and then eventually he'll kind of drop the whole elf thing and move on with his life, whatever. And so yeah, they take Buddy in, and you have the. So yeah, he takes Buddy to his apartment and kind of talks with everybody, and of course he's decorated the entire place with paper snowflakes and all that, and they kind of just talk over dinner, eating spaghetti, and then Buddy starts taking maple syrup that he has and he pours it onto the spaghetti and eats it. That's gotta be disgusting. I'd throw up if I'd eat that, honestly. So yeah, against Walter's wishes, Emily lets Buddy live with them for I don't know, whatever, and and you got Buddy and Emily talking. Emily's like, oh, come on, we can't just leave him in the snow. And then Walter's like, fine. I don't care anymore. You got next morning, everyone's eating breakfast and getting ready to leave for work. Buddy turns the entertainment center into a rocking horse and gives everyone spaghetti for breakfast with syrup. I really likes it, so whatever. And Walter sitting at the table, you got Buddy, and he's like, all right, I got the whole day planned. We're gonna make snowflakes, eat cookie dough, snuggle, all that kind of, I don't know. That just feels kind of weird. And Walter's like, yeah, I can't do that. I gotta work. And so yeah, Walter leaves for work. Buddy gets scared of the radiator for a second, and a couple other stuff here and there. And anyway, you got Walter. He's working at the place. You got, I don't know, his boss shows up. He's kind of in town. You got, of course, their last book didn't do very good. It's missing 2 whole pages, and the overall quality of it was terrible. And so yeah, the boss, in order to save the company and Walter's job, they got to make a new book, one that's an absolute banger, and they gotta pitch it on Christmas Eve. And yeah. Fast forward a little bit, we get to the local school, where we have Buddy's half brother, Walter and Emily's kid, Michael. He gets out of school, but Buddy's waiting outside. He's like, "Hey, Michael, it's me, your brother." And he kind of just follows Michael through Central Park, and of course he's kind of bothering Michael. And then Michael's like, "All right, can you just shut up, please shut up?" And then before they know it, they both get ambushed by a bunch of bullies throwing snowballs at them, and they try and duck for cover, and he's like, come on, man, we gotta get out of here. And then Buddy's like, hey, come on, man, we can take these guys. Come on, let's make some snowballs. And Buddy makes an abnormal amount of snowballs in a matter of seconds, and he kind of just throws them at all the kids like a machine gun. And it kind of just scares everyone off. And because of that, Michael's respect for Buddy kind of just went, and he kind of just accepted Buddy as his brother. And I find that cool. And you got the next scene where you got the 2 of them going up in gimbals, kind of just playing, jumping on all the beds, and Buddy, and he's like, oh man, I wish Dad was here. He's like the best dad in the whole world. And then Michael's like, are you kidding? he's like the worst dad in the world. It's like all he cares about is, all he does is work. He doesn't care about you or me or anyone, just money. But he's like, well, he is on the naughty list. And of course they're in Gimbals, and you got the part with you got the Christmas place, and you got all that, and Jovi's there, and the manager's there too. He's the Santa now, so. And so yeah, Michael notices Buddy staring at Jovi, and then he's like, "Oh, you like her, don't you? Why don't you like ask her out on a date or something? Like a date? Yeah, a date. Just just be cool." And Jovi kind of just tells Buddy a thing, saying that Buddy has a restraining order on Gimbals and he should probably leave, and but then Buddy was like, well, come on, man, I want to see you. You want to, like, I don't know, Buddy asks Jovi out, and Jovi says Thursday works, and everything works out fine. Then fast forward back to the apartment. You got Buddy and Michael. They're setting up a Christmas tree. Buddy chopped it down at Central Park. It's very, very illegal as far as everyone's concerned. Of course, Walter's pissed, and then Emily's like, yeah, well, at least Michael's happy for once. You haven't exactly been there for him. Walter's like, oh, come on, we can't leave Buddy here. He's gonna wreck the place. And then Emily suggests that Walter takes, Buddy to work with them. And so, yeah. The next day, you got the two of them wearing suits and trench coats. And, basically the thing turned into a bring your kid to work day scenario, where you have Walter and you have his son Buddy, and they're sitting in the office, and Buddy's kind of just being annoying. Kind of drinking coffee and not liking it, and he's like, you don't have to drink that. All right, cool, thank you. He's like, oh, by the way, why does your desk have a name on it? And he's like, all right, you know what? And he tells Buddy about the mail room. It's like under the Empire State Building, where all the mail from all over the world goes through and it gets sorted out. And he thought it'd be cool if Buddy could hang out there, but only to find out that the place in question actually looks pretty grimy. It's very dark and dirty, and everyone looks pretty rough, and it's like, yeah. But then, meanwhile, while Buddy's in the mailroom, you got Walter. He's in the office, and two of his associates come up with an idea that might be really cool. They hatch a plan to, I don't know, bring in the famous children's author Miles Finch to, I don't know, come in and come up with a good book for them, and Walter likes the idea, so they try and call him. But let's fast forward to later. You got Buddy talking to some random dude. I forget his name. He's kind of just, they talk and everything's cool. And then you got the guy pouring a little thing of liquor into his coffee, and then Buddy goes, syrup and coffee, why didn't I think of that? Can I have some? And he takes it and he just kind of pours the whole thing in, and before you know it, he gets drunk, sort of, and yeah, he's kind of just chilling with his buddy, and everything's fine. And he kind of starts an uproar. He kind of has like he's dancing on the table and everyone's cheering on him, that kind of thing, and then kind of just interrupts Walter's call with Miles Finch. But fortunately, Miles agrees to show up tomorrow to discuss a new book, and of course. So yeah, we fast forward to, this is interesting, we get to Buddy and Jovi's date. Yeah, to get a date, and everything turns out fine. They walk around, look at Christmas trees. They drink crappy coffee, and they go ice skating for a bit, and they make out. Very basic date kind of stuff. So yeah, Miles Finch, the author Walter was trying to bring in, shows up for a meeting. Yeah, he's there. He's played by Peter Dinklage, and he shows up, and they talk about a good story or plot for their next children's book. But then it's interrupted when Buddy starts coming in. He's like, "Dad, I would love. I don't care who does it." And then he's there, and Walter's like, "What are you doing here, man? I'm busy." And Buddy confuses Miles Finch for an elf, and then of course Miles Finch gets offended by it, and then a little bit later he kind of just gets up and starts beating the out of him. Yeah, of course Miles is now pissed. He kind of just gets up and he just kind of storms away. So yeah, there goes that big plan. And Walter's very pissed at Buddy. He's like, "You get the out of here right now. I don't care if you're an elf. I don't care if you're my son. Get the out of my life." And of course that hits hard, and it gets a little sad. And now it's Christmas Eve probably. You got Buddy. He gets sad and he runs away. He writes a note on an Etch-a-Sketch. He leaves in his elf costume. And when you got the office where Walter is. You can bet that Walter feels pretty bad about what he said to Buddy, and he's sad. But then you got Walter's coworkers. They come up. They figure out Miles Finch's notebook was left behind, and they thought they could use one of the pages to make a book out of it. So they decide to get the storyboard ready, and then you get to Michael. He comes back to the apartment only to find out that Buddy ran off. We get to the conference room. You got Walter. He's talking with his boss, about to start pitching the meeting or the book or whatever. Michael shows up and tells his dad that Buddy ran away, and he's very scared, and he's like, "We gotta go after him." And then Walter's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't right now. I gotta work. My entire job focuses on this." And he's like, "Come on, man. It's your son, and it's Christmas. Come on." And Walter's like, "All right, you know what? You're right. We gotta do something. All right, listen, Mr. Boss Guy. I'm gonna have to reschedule this. This is a family emergency." And he's like, "I don't care. If you want to keep your job, you have to finish. You have to do this book. If you walk out of here, you're fired. So let's just get on with this, and we'll be on our way." And then Walter's like, "All right, you know what? You." And he just kind of walks out of here with Michael, and then of course he lost his job, but everything's fine. Fast forward a bit, you got Buddy. He's still very sad. He's there on the side of the bridge. This just got dark. Then whatever it was that was going to happen was cut short when Buddy noticed Santa Claus flying on his sleigh. It's kind of having a little struggle, and he just he's kind of just falling out of the sky, and it crashes into Central Park. And of course you got Buddy kind of just following him, trying to find the sleigh, and he does. You got the sleigh and all the reindeer, and Santa Claus is there. And he's like, "Buddy, hey, there's a problem. The Christmas spirit meter just dropped to 0. There's no Christmas spirit or anything. And also the jet engine just broke off, and I need help. I need an elf's help. And Buddy's like, oh, come on, man, I can't do this. I'm not an elf. I can't do anything right. And then Buddy's and Santa's like, Buddy, you're more of an elf than anyone I've met, and you're the only person here that can help me fix my sleigh. And he's like, all right, I'll help. All right, you gotta find the sleigh. You gotta find the engine. It broke that way. And yeah, you got Walter and Michael. They see the, I don't know, sleigh crash too, and they go into Central Park to get it. And yeah, of course the crash gets brought on the news. Some people say that it was Santa Claus, and of course Buddy gets shown on the news too, mainly for his elf costume. And when we get to Central Park, you got Walter and Michael. They find the jet engine before Buddy does, and then Buddy's like, "Hey, you guys found it. Look, I gotta tell you something." And Walter stops him. He's like, "I gotta tell you something first." And then he apologizes to Buddy, and he's like, "Look, I'm sorry, man. I know you were an oddball at times, but you're still my son." And they hug you out, and everything's fine. And then they take the engine and they bring it over to Santa's sleigh, and it's like, all right, we got the engine, and Buddy tries to hook it back up to the engine, get it working again, and Walter and Michael are there, and they're like, holy crap, we're meeting the Santa Claus. That's crazy, man. Of course, you got Central Park. They're kind of evacuating everyone, and everyone's outside. There's news reporters and everything. Yeah, you got the Central Park Rangers. They show up and they trying to catch the sleigh or whatever to kind of investigate. I don't know what exactly it is they're going to do, but yeah, of course they need people to believe in Santa Claus to, I don't know, get the sleigh floating and moving. And Buddy needs more time to install the engine. So Walter takes Santa's coat and tries to distract the Rangers, and it doesn't work. And Michael runs off with Santa's list, with everyone's names and what they want for Christmas and all that. And we get the scene where Michael shows up into the crowd and kind of just gets on TV, and he's like, "It's the real Santa! It's the real Santa! Look, this is his list." And he kind of just goes through some of it, reads names and all that, and the things. Of course, the sleigh starts moving, and an epic chase scene between where the Rangers are chasing Santa's sleigh with Santa and Buddy, kind of just flying through Central Park, and you got Michael with the crowd, still have the list. Jovi and Emily are there too for some reason, because they saw the whole thing on the news, and they figure that Santa's sleigh can't fly because there's no Christmas spirit and whatever. And Jovi remembers what Buddy told him about spreading Christmas cheer and singing, and this part's interesting. You still got the chase going around. They're still trying to evade the Rangers, and I don't know, getting the sleigh to fly and not break or anything. Of course, you got Jovi. She starts standing somewhere and starts singing "Santa Claus is Coming to Town," and before you know it, everyone in the crowd starts caroling with her, and this is a good part. Apparently, of course, since you got the news playing, everyone's in the city is watching it, and everyone in the city just starts singing along like in the movie, or whatever. I'm slurring my words here. I'm not good with this. I better start upping my game with these kind of videos. I should invite people to, I don't know, talk this with me or whatever, or I could just use the footage or whatever. Yeah, but I don't want to get sued, so I guess I'm stuck doing this until further notice. So yeah, because everyone's everyone's singing Christmas carols. Everyone, the sleigh finally, happens, but the engine broke off, and but enough Christmas spirit throughout the city is enough to get the sleigh back up in the air, and boom, Christmas is on again. Everything's cool. You got everyone. You got Christmas being saved. Santa makes his round trip, but he comes back and starts hanging out with the fam and all that, and Walter makes a book about, but starts a new publishing thing. The book basically just tells Buddy's story, and everything works out, and I'm a pretty happy ending. I'm not disclosing much about it, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. So pretty good movie. I gotta tell you, this movie is an absolute classic. It's one of those movies where you can watch year after year after year without getting tired of it. Christmas movies are like that. Well, most of them. The Hallmark ones avoid at all costs. Let me tell you. So love this movie. Very, very, very charming Christmas movie, and I think every Christmas movie fanatic should watch this at some point. And so that's just about it. For watching, everyone. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, see you next time. Bye.